Hey everybody, it's Jonathan. So, in today's video, we're going to talk about some information regarding the chakras, and it's going to be exciting. So, what was supposed to be just basic information ended up being a plethora of information, including changes in the chakras that we can look forward to over time. So, Jax has channeled a lot of this and wrote it down. And if you would like, feel free to pause and go get something to drink, because I'm going to be here reading for a hot minute. Alright, so we'll go over how our chakras can and do evolve, the galactic connections of our systems, the karmic imprints they carry from previous lives and ancestors, and how chakras behave in higher dimensions, 5D and beyond. There are also a few channeled messages. This information was channeled, researched, and compiled by the mysterious Jax. Jax does not want to be in the public, so mysterious. So, let's start with the bare bones basics. What are chakras? Chakras are considered the energy centers of the subtle body. They are usually seen and described as vortices of energy that align themselves along the spine. Each chakra corresponds to certain nerves, organs, and psychological and spiritual themes in the human body. There are many chakras throughout our energy grid, but the 7 main ones are usually the focus of most reports. From the root chakra at the base of the spine, up through the sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and finally the crown chakra at the top of the head. In an entirely healthy state, these energy centers are open and nourished, protected, allowing life to flow freely through our bodies and the bodies of those around us. However, blocked chakras are not an uncommon problem. They disrupt our emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being, making us more vulnerable to malicious entities and psychic attacks. In short, they are much like energy organs. However, our chakras are evolving. You may hear from time to time that humanity's chakras are undergoing an upgrade as we enter into higher states of consciousness, but what does that actually mean? Essentially, our chakras are currently considered traditionally 3D, but are expanding and becoming more refined or crystalline. This means existing and perceiving in higher clarity, vibration, and structure, similar to how a crystal can hold and refract more light. Chakras shift in color and frequency as we ascend. In the 3D model, the root chakra is frequently observed to be red, but in 5D states is seen to be a rich platinum color. Isn't that awesome? The higher frequency vibration produces security and divine trust. The throat chakra is seen as blue, and in 5D models becomes more vibrantly electric and royal in color, and eventually a diamond-like frequency. The colors shift as the chakra becomes capable of holding more light and multidimensional energy. But it also means that chakras become more unified and open. In lower vibrations, they are separate, their own rigid systems that are slow and out of sync. Slowly it operates more and more as one unified system, no longer bound to the dense 3D body that hosted it before. They become a unified field of light, the crystalline light body. They even begin to change in observable shape, whereas in 3D they are similar to wheels. In 5D and beyond, they are more like pillars of light. They no longer need to spin all just right to function. They begin to merge and work in harmony as one beautiful and radiant system. It looks like a rainbow pillar. There is not, however, one strict answer about how this is done. The universe as we know it has far fewer rules than we believe it to. That said, many find success after a deeply profound experience in opening their heart chakra. It is intense and overwhelming in a beautiful way. Unfortunately, for the sake of time, we'll have to explore the complexities of how chakras function in higher dimensions in another video. This video is just for the basics. Now, did you know that your chakras have active galactic connections? Beyond the personal and biological, our energy centers link us to the cosmos. They hold the energy and experiences of our past lives lived elsewhere, helping us tune into the vast expanse of everything around us. The chakra system itself extends far beyond our physical bodies into transpersonal chakras. They connect with everyone else on our grid and with our cosmic energy. Just above the crown of the head is the soul star chakra. Above that, the stellar gateway chakra. Think of them as being somewhat like antennas. They link you to both your star of origin and all the frequencies in which you have lived before this one. So, a side note here. The star of origin, in this case, is talking about, let's say, where you were incarnate beforehand. Like, if you're a star seed and you've come here to help humanity, you're going to be still connected to the planet or civilization you were in before. And there will be more information about this. I just wanted to clarify. Interestingly, some people can have more naturally strongly developed chakras depending on their star of origin and former lives lived. Some may find their upper chakras are more naturally strong, and we often call them psychically sensitive, as it leads to a naturally strong intuition. Their lower ones are typically weaker as a result. But this is just their starting point, and of course, all of us have the potential to develop. Those with naturally stronger upper chakras tend to have an easier time with astral travel or telepathy, but can struggle with being fully present here in this frequency. However, we must remember that we were placed here to experience something new. What feels safest is not always the most beneficial to your growth. The key to this, then, is to intentionally ground and integrate all chakras. Typically, when someone finds safety in their upper chakras, they will unintentionally allocate their energy there and find themselves to be unbalanced. However, when you allow yourself to be grounded and balance all your chakras, only then do you get to fully bridge the gap between your current human existence and your star lineage. When your lower body is balanced, you can more safely activate your gateways and soul star. Then conscious connection to your galactic family becomes much easier and much safer. There's a lot to be explored about the significance of your origin star, but we'll have to save that for another video. To put all this simply, our chakras are like cosmic receivers. Each one can tune into certain star frequencies, much like a radio picking up stations. When we meditate on certain chakras, we may even connect with guides or aspects of ourselves from those systems. Our energetic lineage spans far beyond the earth to scatter across the stars. So let's talk about karmic imprints. Like I said, our chakras connect us to our past as well as the cosmos. In spiritual healing, you will notice that your chakras carry imprints, energetic records of experiences from this life, your past life, your ancestral lineage. These are karmic imprints. They can help explain why we have certain recurring emotional patterns or inexplicable fears, and they show us the importance of healing our energy centers on a soul level. Let's look at some examples. Your root chakra, at the base of your spine, is all about survival, safety, and belonging. It is deeply connected to ancestral energy, essentially the inherited survival memories of your family line. Since it carries so much, nearly everyone will have problems in this chakra. Traumas like wars, famines, displacements that your ancestors experienced can leave an energetic imprint in the root. These become what's known psychologically as generational trauma, but we will more commonly refer to it as energy patterns you are born with. For instance, if your great-grandparents lived through a famine, you might inexplicably carry food insecurity, where you hoard it and are afraid of not having enough. This fear originated not in your own life experience, but in the ancestral memories stored in your root chakra. The root chakra holds the old survival maps, even when we are no longer in those situations. Now consider the throat chakra, our center of communication and truth. Suppose someone in a past life suffered persecution for speaking out. A healer, a witch in medieval times who was executed for their words. That soul memory could remain imprinted then in the throat chakra for the next life. In practice, this may show up as a persistent fear of public speaking, chronic throat tightness, or unexplained neck pain in the current life. The throat chakra can still scream for help to heal the trauma of being punished for using our voice. Karmic imprints carry over and affect our chakras until we consciously, deliberately heal and resolve them. Looking at the solar plexus just above the navel, it can also be a center of karmic baggage. It's the seat of personal power and identity. Many of us have old agreements or attachments, karmic contracts, that sleep in this chakra. Vows and power dynamics from past lives, such as obedience to a king, or an energetic tie to an old tribe or clan. As we grow spiritually, these contracts begin to rise to the surface to be released. They, as we rise our vibrations, are transmuted. As a result, we begin to regain a sense of freedom and sovereignty in this life. If you've ever experienced a sudden burst of personal empowerment after doing deep healing work, congratulations. You probably released an old karmic bond. Even the sacral chakra in the lower abdomen, which governs emotions, creativity, and sexuality, stores karmic imprints. Like emotional wounds from past relationships, ancestral patterns around intimacy, and even shame regarding sexual identity. The heart chakra carries unhealed grief too. For example, we could still hold on to the unresolved sorrow of losing a loved one in a previous era, and it could now manifest as a general melancholy or fear of attachment now. Essentially, each root... Clearly, I'm not used to talking this much. Alright. Let me find where I was. Alright. Essentially, each chakra can act as a karmic storage center for certain themes. Survival fears in the root, guilt or shame in the sacral, power issues in the solar plexus, grief in the heart, truth and expression wounds in the throat, intuitive fears like fear of seeing spirits in the third eye, and spiritual trauma like feeling cut off from God in the crown. These imprints are not set in stone. Once we become aware of them through intentional exploration, we can heal and release these energies. There is also no one strict way of doing this. Often, though, just recognizing a pattern as stemming from the past and not identifying with it as who you are now prompts big shifts, For example, someone who always felt inexplicably anxious around authority might discover that they had been imprisoned unjustly in a past life. Simply understanding that it did not come from there, here now, understanding the fear and where it came from, and giving it space to exist before releasing it, allows our chakras to simply let go of it. Don't let this make you feel despaired, though. Beyond the trauma, our chakras also remember our soul's greatness, the love, the wisdom, and gifts we have accumulated. Clearing karmic imprints is like dusting off a jewel. Our true light starts shining through each chakra. Unearthing these deep memories is not to dwell on the past, but to empower your present. You may now be wondering, how do I even begin to heal this? You may be feeling overwhelmed, but that's why we're all here, the light workers and everybody, But also, me and my shadowy friend Jax that will remain hidden. We'll be posting guides, channeled messages, and healing rituals for all to partake in. It starts with you, my friends. Please subscribe if you'd like to follow along to begin your spiritual healing. I hope this has helped you understand the advanced basics of our chakras. If you stick with us and learn to work with them in this richer way, we won't just balance our moods or health, we will all collectively expand our consciousness. We will push our species to live as the high vibrational being we were meant to become, with hearts open, clear purpose, and deep love for the collective. So, thanks for being with us today, and leave a comment about things that you would like to hear about, topics that would interest you. We're definitely going to continue making these videos, and it's going to be good. And just for anyone who is energy sensitive, you may have felt today that I feel a little differently in this video. And that is because at the moment I have soul swapped with Baphomet. Now, a lot of you might know him as, one of the darker entities. But like I told you in our pilot video, we're helping them, or I am, at least. Jax too with Baphomet, but me, and there are several others, we've all been healing and ascending along with you, because we have chosen as a group that we are tired of 1D and being crusts. I'm going to put out more in a video later about us and our growth, but it is interesting, and I will see you guys soon. Thanks for watching.